Because the ones that don't serve you don't deserve you. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you are doing well. I have been very up and down the last few days. The day I'm recording this, I did not want to get out of bed just because the weather was not too grand and I didn't feel like it. So, life in general. Anyway, I have been needing to severely get my life together. And one of those things that I've needed to do is to get my digital life together. I've needed to declutter that, unpack that, reorder that, and I've gotten quite good at it. I did mention it at the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken, when I did different parts of my life that I decluttered. Digital was one of them. And today specifically, I wanted to speak about building a second brain, because it can work for a lot of people, but if you don't know how to do it or find the right thing for you, it's not really going to help. But that is what today's topic is all about. And to get where we're going, we need to go back and start at the beginning. So, as I mentioned, I had to digitally declutter my life. And one of the things I did first and foremost was just figure out what I needed to do. Getting all my tech together, seeing how much I actually have, and then making a plan to slowly and systematically work through it has helped. My cell phone right now is actually very, very streamlined, to the point that I've actually arranged the folders for my apps in almost an affirmations kind of a way. For example, my social media folder is called I Create Content, which is a quick reminder that before I go to any social media, I should be looking and also creating, not just consuming. When it comes to my banking apps or my money apps or my payment apps, that one is called I Am Wealthy, which helps remind me, like, what would a wealthy person do when it comes to their money? Would they spend it? Would they choose to buy something over the other? You know, what would a wealthy person choose to do in this situation? And similarly, with my apps that are reward based or scan, or you have apps like Starbucks that gives you things. I call that I Am Frugal. That is the name of the folder, because I get rewards, I get freebies, I get cash back. But the trick with those things are usually that you need to spend money in order to get those things, which is not always good. So being frugal is like making a very intentional choice, whereas being cheap is just you're going to go for the cheapest option, which is not me. I'm frugal. I'm balling on a budget. I'm bougie on a budget, but I'm well aware of my financial limitations. So yes, I have been getting better at it. I'm still getting there. And yes, getting it together is a step, and that step is good. Sorting through all of those things, that is better. But above all, having a system in place for once you've eventually completed the declutter and gotten through everything is the ultimate goal. Because it's kind of like this is a journey, not a destination. Because if you do not have the system in place, your life is going to fall back into disarray, which is essentially what this topic today is about, having the second brain. So, tech has made it easy for us to have an app for anything and everything we may need in this world. However, it's how we use it that makes a difference. For me, I've tried multiple different apps, and I can tell you now, personally, a simple planner works best for me, because it carves a straight path between me and what I need to get done. Trust me, I love a good aesthetic. Why do you think I tried the bullet journal? I loved it. But above that, keeping it simple, and I mean genuinely simple, by simply having a date on a page and a list of tasks I need to do, has and will always work better for me. And that's fine. I have stickers that I've invested in. I can always zhuzh up a page with those things. But furthermore, the less frill, the better. just because it keeps it clean cut for my brain to be like, what do I need to do? How can I get it done? End of discussion. And I have found that certain apps do make life easier. I've had calendar apps, journaling apps, all sorts of things, but a simple to-do list on a page has always been my ultimate. And apps aren't bad. Like I said, I've had ones that have made my life so much easier. There was a phase of 2 solid years where I had a button on the home screen of my phone, which allowed me to just quickly add a note to the Evernote app. Now, nothing in this episode is sponsored. I'm just speaking from my own experience. But that was an incredible thing and feature to have on my phone, regardless of the app. Because I found notes on Evernote that I don't even remember adding, because it was 2 a.m. I rolled over, I grabbed my phone, swiped it down, tapped add a note, entered it into my phone, tossed it down, and went back to sleep. And now that I'm cleaning it out, I'm just like, what was this even about? But it's nice to have that, because it made the process of noting things down so easy and simple. I also had a habit tracking app that I completely stopped using just because I didn't have the same habits I had when I came back from hospital. And also I was more just focused on recovery than anything else. So I never used the app again. Not everything will work and not everything will work for you, which is essentially what the second brain is about. First and foremost, the idea of a second brain was coined by Tiago Forte in his book, Building a Second Brain. Now, full disclosure, I have not read this book, but I have done a ton of research on it. You can search on YouTube, on Google, there are websites, everything, YouTube videos, blog posts that can help you find out more about it. But it is definitely something I would recommend you look into, because a second brain, or the idea of it, is a way of organizing your thoughts, ideas, cataloging information, storing data, all these types of things to make it seamless for you to find them when you need them. So this can be a digital or analog process, but mine is digital, or at least mostly digital. So go check it out. It'll help you so much, and seeing different creators tailor it to themselves might help you, because some people might do things in a certain way and you can be like, that's good. Or you can look at it and be like, that's too complicated, I need something simple. So definitely go check it out. But I think it's very important for everyone to have some form of a second brain, just because everyone thinks of things, everyone needs to remember things, everyone has to do things or wants to remember certain pieces of information, and cataloging it in a certain way is definitely going to help you find it when you need it, instead of having to go research for that information. Not research, look up that information. You know what I'm saying. So for me, my second brain works in a multitude of ways, and I have multiple things that I use to keep this brain going. So it's made up of multiple parts, so I'm just going to get into explaining that. So first and foremost, I have a Google Drive folder that is just for referencing information and knowledge. So if I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube videos, I watch a show or a movie or a documentary, I will create a doc in my Google Drive inside this folder, label it so I can access it, and then put whatever information I need from that show or work or podcast or whatever into a Google Doc, and then move on with my life. Having all the information in one sheet just really makes things simple. And because Google Drive has a search function, and in a Google Doc you can search for something, so when you're trying to research information you have, you can simply just type it in there and find exactly what you need, because you know you have it. And because you've already written it in your own words, it's a much simpler thing to understand, because you've processed the information and you're giving it to yourself in the most simplest form you can. So Google Drive, best thing for notes. You can also hyperlink, you can bold, you can highlight, you can just do a whole bunch of things with it. So it makes learning things much better. Any information and knowledge, that's where I stored it. For notes, this is where it gets iffy, because I'm currently sifting through my Evernote account. They've changed how they do things and limited each user to have 50 notes on the free version. I currently have just under or over 600, somewhere there, that I'm sifting through, deleting, copying over to somewhere else. And it's not easy to get rid of things because some have personal value. And an example of this is my aunt's recipe for a dessert she makes. She passed away, and I'm very careful to have that recipe in the app and not lose it somehow. So it's a work in progress for me to just get all my information from there, not lose it, not have it auto delete or something, which is stressful, but I'm working on it. And while I'm working on it, I'm actually testing other note apps. So I'm currently between Samsung Notes, Notion, and Google Notes, because a lot of them integrate with other things, but I'm just like, which one is the most seamless to do that thing with? You know, what can I just click open, type in a note, and move on with my day? That one is still a bit of a work in progress, but having a place to just put random notes will always be a good idea. So that is my dilemma at the moment. I did mention Notion, and this is actually one of the biggest parts of my second brain, because no, not sponsored, I genuinely just love it because it has really good AI. So I've been sorting through some things and doing research on different jobs and things like that, studies, qualifications, and their AI really helps in terms of being able to be like, what soft skills do I need? What hard skills do I need? Things like that. What interpersonal knowledge should I have going into this thing? Here's a job spec. Pretend you are an interviewer for this job. Here's the job spec. What questions would you ask me? Those types of things are really, really helpful. So loving the AI Notion, and I also love just that it's plain and simple. I can easily just slide between my 3 devices. So if I'm on my laptop, I've got it. Everything is nice and big and bold. If I'm on my tablet, I can see everything clearly. If I'm on my phone, I have it on the go. It is integrated beautifully. So like, I am just really loving that for my second brain. They do also have a notes tab and like a task tab that you can open and use. So I might think of keeping Notion as like the main notes part of my second brain. It's just a work in progress. I'm getting there. And then the final part of my second brain is the tasks that need to be done. So for this, I'm using Google Tasks. It has been one of the best ones. It integrates with most apps, most desktop software, most things. So I can, like I said with Notion, seamlessly continue what I'm doing from one device to another. There is also this really cool Chrome add-on that I got. It's called Google Task Board. So if you prefer a board layout with like blocks and like lists and tabs and things, that is going to be good for you. Like, it is absolutely perfect. I love it. It also integrates with your Google Calendar. So if you are in Calendar, there's a pop-up on the side where you can just add tasks. If you are in your tasks, you can add things to the calendar. You can set deadlines. It's so beautiful. So that is one that I've just been absolutely loving to help me keep on task. And yeah, Any.do also is just a bonus one. It helps make everything look good. But yeah, those are just what I use to keep my second brain functioning. I've definitely needed it to keep me on task with trying to get episodes up. As I mentioned, this week has just been hectic today, particularly because my mom is leaving on the day this goes live, which is Thursday. So I've had to keep myself organized and on track. And this world is also constantly evolving. Everything is updating, changing, integrating. And I love trying new apps, not gonna lie. And while doing that, I enjoy finding what's worth keeping and what's not. So I'm going to encourage you to do that this week. Go through your phone. Be ruthless with your apps. Okay? Even when it comes to the weekend. Maybe take an hour or like 20 minutes. Go through your phone. Make folders. Put them in there. Even if you have a folder of keep, get rid of. Do that. Anything you want to keep, put in the keep folder. Anything you want to get rid of, put in the get rid of folder, and then just slowly delete all of them off your phone. Because the ones that don't serve you don't deserve you. Okay? Get rid of them, get gone, and for the love of all that is holy, make sure you aren't paying a subscription for something you do not need. That is the worst. So don't. Absolutely not. On to a bit of fun. The song of this week, okay? The song of this week is called A Bar Song, Tipsy, in brackets, by Shabuze. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. Shabuze. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's an iconic song. I'm sure everyone's heard it by this point. And that song is a literal example of everything I just said in this episode. Because we as humans do the same thing over and over again, but simply evolve how we do them. So this song actually samples the original Tipsy by Jaquan, which was an iconic song of my childhood. Yes, I was a child, but even then it was a club anthem and I wasn't old enough to get into the club, but it was still a good vibe. So it's okay. And the thing is, even today, people are still going to bars, people are still drinking, but it's done differently. There are less risks involved. People are more open-minded. People are going in groups for safety. We've got services like Uber and Lyft, so drunk driving is no longer a thing. Most places are cashless, or they do phone payments or, smart watch payments, so there's less chance of being robbed. And the world is evolving, so everything is getting better each day. We are always trying to find ways to make life easier. But when it comes to this, make it easy for yourself. Make it good for you, even if that means not following the crowd. Don't do what they do, because then you're gonna end up like them. And who wants to be like everyone else? No. Stand up, stand out, be you, boo. And with that, I'm gonna leave you on that high note. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you are gonna go listen to the song and just jive to it, because it's really such a freaking good song. I don't even have words. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm finished. I'm cutting it off there before I ruin this. I will see you in next week's episode. As usual, keep being a better being. Okay? Better for you. Okay. Love you. Bye.